the attack on the United States Capitol by domestic terrorists was fueled by Trump's rhetoric and narrative regarding widespread voter fraud, something that he has not proven, something that his lawyers haven't proven. And so, of course, there are Trump enablers in the media, people like Tucker Carlson, who have only repeated Trump's ridiculous talking points on this matter. And so how did he handle the situation that took place in the Capitol yesterday? How did he twist it? Well, he did so by making this incredibly dumb argument that we'll debunk once we come back. Watch.
Of Americans sincerely believe the last election was fake. You can dismiss them as crazy. You can call them conspiracy theorists. You can kick them off Twitter. But that won't change their minds. Rather than trying to change their minds, to convince them and reassure them that the system is real, that the democracy works, as you would do if you cared about the country or the people who live here, our new leaders will try to silence them. What happened today will be used by the people taking power to justify stripping you of the rights you were born with as an American. Your right to speak without being censored, your right to assemble, to not be spied upon, to make a living, to defend your family, most critically. These are the most basic and ancient freedoms that we have. They're why we live here in the first place. They're why we're proud to be Americans. They're what make us different. And they're all now in peril. When thousands of your countrymen storm the Capitol building, you don't have to like it. We don't. You can be horrified by the violence, and as we said, and we'll say it again, we are horrified. It's wrong. But if you don't bother to pause and learn a single thing from it, from your citizens storming your Capitol building, then you're a fool. You lack wisdom and you lack self-awareness. You have no place running a country. We got to this sad, chaotic day for a reason. It is not your fault. It is their fault.
So anyone who has different ideas and questions the, just like the hateful nature of the right wing, their viciousness toward communities of color, toward immigrants, it's their fault. It's those people who encourage somehow these insane, violent right-wing extremists to storm into the Capitol building, to break into the Capitol building. One guy with zip ties, by the way, probably to attempt to hold hostages. What is he doing, right? Like, it's our fault, by the way. It's our fault for calling into question a system that has led to so much inequality, the two-tier justice system, which has led to the protests that we experienced over the summer. Those are the protests that he's citing in that ridiculous rant. Anyway, I've had enough of this buffoon. And how does his audience not see that he's talking to them? Like, the tone that he uses when he's talking to his audience, he talks to them as if they're morons. How are they not endlessly insulted by the way he talks to them? He talks to them like they're children.
Yeah. Well, takes one to know one, and he is only talking to white nationalists. They're gonna take away your rights to carry arms inside the Capitol building. They're gonna take away your rights to form a militia in the woods and then go stalk women in hijab around the city. They're gonna take away your rights to run your car into Black Lives Matter demonstrators. Those are the rights that he's talking about. And because Trumpism is so pervertedly based on unreality, it's essentially a religion. And the argument he's making is, in effect, we are a religion. Our right to contest a democratic election is our religious belief. And you trying to stop that is essentially trampling our rights to be absolutely crazy. It makes no sense. And yet it fits in the right wing ideology of always, why are you hitting yourself? When you're old, do you have an older? I have an older brother, and he, you grab your arm and you just start hitting. He would grab my hand and start hitting me, and he'd be like, "Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?" And I'm like, "I'm not. That's you moving my arm." That is what the right does. That's all they do. They're the ones who are punching you. They're the ones oppressing, and then they're like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you making me do this to you?" Oh, it's so sad.
So let me ask you something. let's think about it in this context. I'm very curious how Tucker Carlson would handle this. And when I say curious, I know exactly how he would handle it. Let's say it was discovered that a Muslim individual had planted 2 pipe bombs. One near the DNC, the other near the RNC. Now, as you guys know, pipe bombs were found at both the RNC and DNC yesterday. What would the reaction be? Would Tucker Carlson come on his show and say, no, it's not their fault for planting those pipe bombs. It's actually the US government's fault for antagonizing Muslim individuals. Is that the argument he would make? Right? Would he clear them of any criminality? Of course he wouldn't. No. Of course he wouldn't. And no one should. You plant pipe bombs, that's an issue. No matter what your political ideology is, regardless of who you agree with, who you disagree with, I don't care. That's criminality, but you should face the consequences for that, and they should be condemned. But that's not what Tucker Carlson's doing here. He's erasing and whitewashing the criminality of these Trump supporters, and then placing the blame on individuals who have been fighting for justice in this country.
Yeah, I mean, literally, they have the presidency. Like, they won. These guys are not embattled people. I mean, in a way, like, you want to call them terrorists, but like terrorists usually do what they do because they don't really have that much power, like historically, sort of like they don't wield a state, they don't have the support of a president. These guys have the support of a president. This president essentially sicked a mob on his own Congress. That's exactly what happened. Like, to spin it any other way is ridiculous. But of course, Tucker Carlson, I don't know who he's talking to. You have a response. They did this to you, and now they're gonna come. Like, do you mean the Republicans? Who are you talking about? Also, I just want to say, again, the idea that your belief makes you correct and justifies anything you do is wrong. Once again, we're talking about extremist fundamentalism. On all sides breeds that kind of stuff. And now we're seeing the right wing extremist fundamentalism leads you to be justified when you, want to take Congress people hostage.
Yeah, and I mean, what do we hear from right wingers like Tucker Carlson when there is something like a terrorist attack? They want the entire Muslim community to condemn it, to apologize for it as if they were personally involved. And in this case, you can't even get right wing media to condemn it. It's disgusting.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.